Welcome to Inside the Cardinal Playbook, sponsored by UPS, 5510 Northeast Antioch Road in North Kansas City. And Coach, we had another conference game, and it was a shootout at the OK Corral, over 1,200 yards, 65-49. That pretty much had to be maybe a Joe record, if nothing else.
I've never been in a game, my whole coaching career or playing career, I don't think I've been in one quite like that, where, two offenses are rolling and defenses aren't getting stops, and that was a crazy, everybody came to a football game and a basketball game.
They broke out.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Exactly, that's exactly what happened.
But you know what, if offense sells tickets, I guess, and so I guess that part of it, fans enjoy watching a lot of scoring, but it was great to see us come alive offensively, especially in the second half. We dug ourselves a hole in a lot of phases in the first half, and we had a couple turnovers, and one on special teams, one on offense, and then defensively battled with getting the other team stopped, and I think it was 38-15 at half.
Right.
We're down.
That's
whatever
correct.
that is, 23, and it was good to see us battle back in the second half and go blow for blow with them really in the second half, and we won the second half, but we dug ourselves enough of the hole in the first half. That's a tough hole to get out of, but there's definitely some positives in that. We had some big gainers, and some guys have some pretty big days offensively, and Warren Freevert continues to be good in special teams.
We got the opportunity. Freevert got the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. He was good on field goals, 100%. Had a couple over 40, and punt game was good, and he's pulling double duty right now, and. Our coverage teams were good for the most part. We muffed one punt, which was a big turnover and a momentum thing in the game. But, outside of that, we were really good in special teams. We were really good at times. And then offensively in the second half, that's probably as good as I've seen us maybe since we've been here as far as executing in the different phases of offensive game plan. And, it was fun to watch.
We were talking a little bit after the ball game, defensively, your game plan going in, but I thought their quarterback probably threw the ball, and we discussed that after our show on Saturday. I think that was a little bit of surprise how well he threw the ball against us.
He threw it better on Saturday than we've seen him throw it, as far as throwing on spots and on time, and especially in the second half when we were bringing a lot of pressure, and you got to give credit to him. He was the offensive player of the week in the conference week 1 of the season. So, he's done it before. It's not new to him, and he's a returning starter for him, and is putting up some big numbers. And so, he made plays. They got a couple of receivers, one in particularly that's, one of the top 1 or 2 in the country.
Well, the Walker kid is really good.
And we helped him a little bit on Saturday, too. Helped him stay up there, and he just made a lot of plays, and we didn't make enough.
Well, a lot of times when you go zero coverage, which is man across the board, if your pass rush isn't what you like for it to be, that corner or safety, depending on what the coverage is, who you have, is on an island.
Yeah.
And this kid, Walker, is probably going to be an All-American, am I right? I mean, he's probably an All-American talk.
He's a top couple of receivers in the country. You got to think that he'll probably end up being an All-American candidate. And so, yeah. He was a good football player.
Yeah, I told Jack's parents, I met Jack's parents, you really find out, the difference between playing NAIA, and this is to my point, in the NCAA Division II, because that is a quality kid that can do a lot of things. And Jack really, he had some times, but a lot of times he won too.
Yeah, he won a lot of those battles a couple times, and he'd tell you this, as he got his eyes caught in the backfield, because he's such an aggressive player, and he's done so much for us in the run game as well, that he peaked a couple times. And I don't fault Jack. Jack was giving everything he could out there, and
made some real nice plays.
He does, and we'll go with him every week and not think twice about it, and so. We'll see a good guy on the edge again this week, as we have the last couple, so we'll have to be ready for that as well.
Well, we talk a little bit about defense, offense, especially teams. You referred to Freevert in the field goal. We had our center, we had our holder, and we had our kicker all at once. That was the first time all year, because we've had so many injuries. Defensively is not any different, or offensively, but I want to talk and kind of focus on defense. When you go cover zero, or man free, or whatever you might run.
Yeah.
Okay. You run those calls. I was trying to explain this to a couple of the parents after the game. You run some of that stuff, And it's not one or two guys to get beat. All 11 have to execute. If you're bringing a guy off the corner and you're in man coverage, you have to pressure, and you got to get there. If not, I guess to my point, they're on an island, right?
Right. You know, going back to, you know, we've talked about it before. Some old coaches in our profession will say that there's two bad things or three things that can happen when you throw the ball, and two of them are bad. And when you're pressuring like that, especially in passing situations where you're trying to force two of those bad things, either an incomplete or an interception, and it's all about timing. If you don't get free in the pressure and create pressure on the quarterback, make him throw it quickly or make him reset or, you know, get out of the pocket or whatever, or throw it away. You know, if they pick up the pressure and with their protection, those guys may have to cover a little bit longer back there, and that, you know, that becomes to an offensive advantage, especially when you have a couple players, especially one like they did in number 5.
Yeah, he was special. And when you, like I told everybody, you know it when you see it. You can't maybe define it. You can't even explain it doing a color on a radio thing. But I think the easiest way to explain things like that is when you know it when you see it. Well, that's this segment of Inside the Cardinal Playbook. We want to thank UPS, our sponsor, 5510 Northeast Antioch Road, North Kansas City. And we'll come back with our second segment, and we'll talk a little bit about the offense and the running game.
On some of those runs, our receivers are blocking 40, 50 yards down the field.
What's my motto? Play to win. What's the key? Logistics. It takes planning. Everybody on the same page. Check this out. This is my playbook. Serious business. Right player, right place, right time. Did it at the UPS store. Bam! High five. Color, pictures, charts, graphics. Nice, huh? I love logistics.
It says in the book we should play as a team.
Professional color printing. Now at the UPS store.
We're Shelter Insurance.
We know you don't stay in business for more than 60 years unless you treat customers right.
We think insurance is better when it relies as much on humanity as it does on technology.
And we know what the weather is like in your area because we live in your area.
Shelter Insurance. For your auto, home, and life. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Get the insurance coverage you need at the right price. Call Kimberly Sidden today.
I want to welcome everybody to Inside the Cardinal Playbook, sponsored by UPS, 5510 Northeast Antioch Road in North Kansas City. And we're going to start off with a real positive. And I've been preaching and talking and been in your ear about we're going to move the football. Rick had to listen to that. You know, we got to move the ball on the ground. And we did. Our offensive line and Cookie just kind of, like I said, when you know it, when you see it, and he's kind of showed that. You've been waiting as a freshman, you know, Harold from Texas, great football country. But back to my point that I had in the first segment, it's a team effort when you run the football.
Absolutely. You know, we've been progressing towards that, a day like that for, you know, some time now, and, you know, finally getting more guys healthy up front has made a big difference in that. And, you know, finding, you know, Thomas finding a groove and understanding of the offense and all the things that we're doing there and getting in there as we've progressed him. If you've watched, he's got a little bit more every week.
Yes, he has. You've been feeding him a little bit, and he's growing like a baby.
Here's what you got to be careful of, young guys like that. If you throw them in the fire too early and they don't have early success, sometimes you can. It's like playing a young quarterback when you can't protect him.
Right.
Sometimes you can demoralize a guy and he loses his confidence, and it's hard to dig out of that hole. So the progression with him, you know, has been for a reason. And you saw Saturday, he showed up on the stage and arrived in a big way, and that was good to see. He's got some tools. He's got some tools, and he showed some of that on Saturday. And, you know, not only in the run game, but he's getting better in protections and, you know, the stuff out of the backfield and the swing game and the screens and stuff like that.
Because the swing game is so much timing, you know. You know, you're looking in, and he's got to learn how to read the outside backer and the safety, you know, and make a play. That just doesn't happen.
Exactly. Well, and we've been getting him touches in other ways throughout this season. The whole season, he's been our punt returner.
And has done a good job.
Our number one punt returner. And then, you know, in the kickoff return game you've seen over the last 5 weeks or so, it's getting him some more touches there and kind of working him into those things. And you kind of saw all those areas come together for him on Saturday, and it wasn't just him. Like you said, that's a group effort. It's the guys around him on the punt return. It's the guys around him on the kickoff returns. It's the guys around him on the offensive line and the receivers. what we haven't talked about a lot is on some of those runs, our receivers are blocking 40, 50 yards down the field, and
they were stalking people all over the field.
Nate, and Scott Buffa and Johnny, all those guys, that are out there in those plays. It's those extra effort blocks downfield that create long runs. I mean, you can run the ball for 6, 7, 8, 10 yards sometimes. When you're getting runs over 10, 15, 25, that's because you're getting bodies on bodies down the field. And that's, offense starts with the offensive line and it progresses into the different levels of the defense as you go. And if you're not finishing on some of those things, you can't create those long plays like we saw some on Saturday.
Well, I talked to Sean Sheldon after the ball game. I usually do. I've gotten to know him well and really like him. He's a great young man.
Yeah.
And, I think Sean could be even more effective at the end of this year and also for next year. We get that running game. I think he would be a great play-action quarterback, consistent. I know that's kind of what you guys want to do. But now, and I want to say something about Whitney, too, because I know what it is to be head coach. He fits in. You have to have more than one back to play in Division II.
Absolutely.
And Whitney is a great blitz picker-upper. He really does a great job of protecting the quarterback. So you got a compliment there. And I know Douglas is playing some more H-back, fullback type look for you. So you got kids in the mix there.
Yeah.
But
Lancar's done some good things.
Phil's,
so we've got a couple.
I'm sorry.
They're all the different dynamics,
different,
and what we haven't seen a lot of because he was injured early is Andrew Edwards too. Has a role there as well. But Saturday ended up the way it worked out being Thomas's more of Thomas's feel for the game and Thomas's day. Now that'll go from week to week, and Glenn's too good of a player for him to be standing over there with me on the sideline. So he'll be involved in a lot of different ways, and we're going to hand him the ball. We're going to, put him in protection.
He's multiple.
We're going to do some, we'll put him in the slot.
He's a
and
football
the same thing with Phil and those other guys. We can do some different things with them, and they all give you a little bit different dynamic when they got the ball in their hands. So that's really good to see. And then, when we can do those things well, like we did on Saturday, like you alluded to at the beginning of your statement there with Sean and in our passing game, and everything else becomes better when we can do that. Because defensively, if you go into a game and you've got to just defend the passing game or just defend the run game, you can get your game plan fairly finite from a defensive standpoint because you can defend either run or pass.
Right.
There's not a defense out there that defends run and pass really, really well, or everybody would play it. Exactly. And so it's just that doesn't exist. You're going to play heavy box or you're going to play heavy coverage. And it's hard to do both unless you're tricking a lot of things, and it's really difficult to do. So when you make a defense prepare for you in both phases, it becomes a whole lot more difficult defensively, and you can leverage some more things offensively.
I think simply put, you just have more tools and it makes your job a lot easier.
Absolutely.
Again, that's what you're looking for, and I thought we made some real headway in our running game. That'll end the second segment here of the Inside the Cardinal Playbook by UPS, 5510 Northeast Antioch Road in North Kansas City. We'll be right back with you.
Todd is another true freshman for us that has a lot of tools that's been doing some of the things you saw him do Saturday.
So, I'm my own man. I can work from home. I can make meetings, I can make deadlines, I can make proposals, I can remember birthdays, I can entertain clients, I can pay for lunch. Yeah, I can do it 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3:15, I can do anything. Done, on it, yes, taken care of. 50 two-sided bound color presentations by tomorrow, I can do that. How do I do that? I love logistics.
Hi, this is Kurt again with MetroFreeStuff.com. Enter our local gift certificate contest today. www.metrofreestuff.com/contest. We have great local gift certificates from everything from gym memberships to coupons to local restaurants. Proud to be a partner with William Jewell Athletics Department. Find us on Facebook. Let's make 2012 a great year. Check us out today at www.metrofreestuff.com.
Welcome back to Inside the Cardinal Playbook, sponsored by UPS, 5510 Northeast Antioch Road in North Kansas City. And Coach, anytime you give up 65, everybody's going to say this and that. I saw two really good defensive linemen play with their hearts, their soul, and play hard. And Bolus and Hearns is only a freshman who's really coming. I really see him growing. Think what he's going to be like when he gets a little stronger, too. And Bolus, I love that kid. He never quits.
He did some other things for us too on Saturday, and just because he needed to, because of it's no secret at this point where our injury situation is defensively, and it's as bad as I've been involved with in my coaching career. But you got to keep going, and you got to find different ways to do things. And Tyler did some things for us on Saturday that he's probably always wanted to do in his career.
Right.
And
thinking he's quick.
Yeah, and he did them well. And then you talked about Todd. We talked about Thomas on the other side of the ball being a true freshman, and some of the things that you saw him do Saturday. And Todd is another true freshman for us that has a lot of tools that's been doing some of the things you saw him do Saturday the whole year, and just continues to get better each week. Mm-hmm. And it's really exciting to know that. And those are just two examples of the young guys that have a bright future, and there's a whole bunch more that maybe you don't see right now that are coming, and we're really excited about. But Todd's a good football player. He's 6'6" to whatever he is, 245, 250 right now. His wingspan is.
You can't coach 6'6". 6'6" is 6'6"
with a 7-foot wingspan. I mean, the length that he provides and some other things, and and he's a student of the game. He'll take time just to come in and spend some extra time with Coach Chapman or myself, and trying to understand more, trying to be better at his craft, and he's exciting as well as fun to watch on Saturday.
Yeah. You look at this season and everybody, all the kids we've had to play, all of us, we've played so many freshmen and sophomore. You have to be excited a little bit for next year because these kids are getting so much Division II playing time. If we can keep them healthy next year, they grow normal situation. You get them in the weight room, normal situation, right, Coach? Mm-hmm. They've gotten experience. Right. I mean, they haven't stood on the sideline. They have played. Right. They're going to get bigger and stronger. You look at these kids in 2 or 3 or 4 years, they're going to be pretty solid.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about the future, but I think, if you've been around it, and you have, and Rick has, and the folks around here, it sees our young classes and sees how talented they are. And, I think we know what the future holds in store for us. Our challenge right now is to get enough guys healthy in every spot, and to get those young guys to play at a junior level, along with the other, the handful of seniors and juniors that are out there playing too, and giving everything they've got and working hard at it to try and finish strong here down the stretch in the season.
Well, I'm not making excuses for you because that's not the way we roll, either one of us. But I am saying is basically when you go to Division II, the big difference is how much quality, depth with experience do you have. Absolutely. And you've jumped in for your second year, and it's just like Missouri and the SEC, and you don't get to follow it because you don't have any time. But it's a different level, and you have to have a different experience level. You have to have more mature athlete as far as physical maturity is concerned, and probably emotional because they've had more playing time. Right. And if you're going to be good at this level, you can't be 1 deep. You have to be 2 or 3 deep. And what we're finding is that's where we're at. We're in the 3 and 4 deep right now on certain areas on the field.
Yeah, and I'd argue almost this is our first year at the Division II level. And playing, last year we were fortunate enough to be able to schedule some NAI schools and some different spots into our conference schedule or into our schedule in general, and which gave us some things that we could maybe continue to work on and progress with. And this year being our first year playing an entirely Division II schedule and conference play and all of those things, and it's challenging it would be challenging for us if we were an entirely veteran group in our first year at Division II. Right now, our first year at the Division II level new conference, being as young as we are across our roster. Now we've got some seniors in there that are just they're battling it out right now.
Prime example.
Exactly, they're giving everything they got, and they're doing a good job. But it makes it even difficult when you're playing, or because your roster's made up. Our entire roster's made up of 65% sophomores or younger on our entire roster, and that makes it difficult. But you know what? Hey, you got to go out and play them, and the things we're learning now will serve us positively in the future. But we live day to day, and you have to. We don't know what the future is going to bring. Right. What we can do is do the things we can do today to help create our future, and that's what we're trying to do right now.
Well, our next segment, we're going to go head up to Indianapolis and play, I think, a 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock start, and we'll talk about that a little bit. They're number one in the conference, and we'll be right back with you. We're talking about that. Again, thanks to UPS, 5510 Northeast Antioch Road in North Kansas City.
We'll play. We'll prepare every day, and by the time we get there Saturday, we'll line up and we'll get everything we got.
This is corporate headquarters. As you can see, I have a unique business. How do I compete with the big boys? Got this fancy business address, a marketing department, distribution center, got a great team, even a cafeteria.
That's mine.
From packing and shipping to printing and mailbox services, come into the UPS store for everything a small business needs.
I love logistics.
I'm Rick Cole of the William Jewell College Sports Network, here with Mary Beth Boone of Aunt Mary's Cookies.
We want you to come to the Jewell volleyball game on October 30th against Rockhurst because it's Milk and Cookies Night with Aunt Mary's Cookies. Aunt Mary's will provide cookies and milk for your enjoyment that night. So come and visit us when William Jewell takes on Rockhurst. Aunt Mary's is located in North Kansas City. We have a full cafe and deli, as well as fresh baked goods daily.
And don't forget to join us October 30th at 7 p.m. as the Cardinals take on Rockhurst University in volleyball. We hope to see you there.
Okay, welcome to Inside the Cardinal Playbook, our last segment. And we're going to start off talking about real positive things as far as our specialty teams. And I'm just going to let you roll because we had a great, I tell you, that was probably as electric play as I've seen here in a long, long time on the punt return.
Yeah, it was really good to see because we come out of half and get the ball back. And I tell them at halftime, listen, what are you going to do? What team are you going to be in the second half?
Absolutely.
And it's going to be our ball. What are you going to do? How are you going to make a statement? We come down and get the ball. We get the ball on the kickoff return and take it down and score on the first drive, and then get a 3-and-out on defense. They punt to us, and number 3 catches it and has a really good blocking down the sideline and takes it the distance. And it's a 14-point swing coming out of half, and momentum starting to go. And that's that type of thing. Those special team scores. Special team scores are one of the biggest momentum plays in football. Whether it's a pump block and block for a touchdown, at any level.
And plus getting the crowd behind you. You go to a pro game and a kickoff return, a punt return, they go bananas.
Absolutely. The things, special teams, we are continuing to play very well there. Our kickoff coverage was really good. Again, that was the number one. They led the.
You're number 2 in the conference.
They led the conference in kickoff returns.
Yeah.
St. Joe did coming into it, and we did a great job. I thought on our coverage there. Our punt scheme's been really good with our kicker being our punter,
right.
And some of the things we're getting out of that, and our protection's been good, and our coverage has been good there. Our punt block unit and stuff like that. Which is also our punt return group. And you saw that group out there Saturday have a nice scoring play. And in those phases, in kickoff returns, we got them out to the 50 and on the other side of the field a couple different times. And at the end, you saw them not kick to us anymore. They were squib kicking it in the second half and trying to keep the ball, I think, out of the hands of 3 and a couple other guys back there. And so those are positive things, and can't be any more excited about that. The one play that if you look at a negative, the turnover we had on the muff punt is unfortunate, but we've got a redshirt freshman back there standing back there with a true freshman and 2 guys, and he's trying to make a play, and with the wind behind him, the ball held up and hit him in the face mask, and unfortunately those things happen in this game. But take away that one play, and that's one of the best special teams days we've had here.
Yeah, it was excellent. I think that was one of the really shining points of the ballgame. Okay, we can talk a little bit about the conference leader in Indianapolis. We're getting ready to go up there now. That's going to be a 5 o'clock start here, a 6 o'clock start there. Why don't you tell me a little bit about why that even took place?
Well, I'll phrase it like this. We get to play a night game in Indianapolis in late October.
Right.
That's a long trip for us, and we get to come back yet that night after the game, and the home team does the scheduling. If we could pick, we wouldn't play a night game 8 hours away.
Sure.
Especially in late October.
And we've done so much travel. We really have.
That is what it is, and unfortunately, Indianapolis thinks it's best for their situation, and that's fine. That's the way it should be, I guess, and so we'll travel fine, and we'll get there, and we'll be ready to go, and you know, it's 6 o'clock. I think 6 o'clock their time, and it's Eastern, so I think it's 5 o'clock our time.
Right.
So it'll be, you know, it'll be interesting to see what the weather does. You know, anytime you get in that area of the country in late October, early November, you could be in a really cool one or potentially rainy one or whatever. So we'll be ready for those things too, and go up there and see what happens. They're a good football team.
Well, let's talk a little bit real quickly and just touch upon it because we're running out of time. But talk about what you expect from them a little bit, just generally offensively and defensively.
You know, defensively, they're going to be a 4-3 defense. And
boy, everybody in the league's just about
4-3. Their personnel is really good, really good, and they're not real flashy, but you know what? They don't need to be. When you got really good personnel, you don't have to do a lot of stuff.
They make you look good, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and they play really well over there. And you know, offensively, you know, they're going to be in, you know, a spread type look, more 21 and 11 personnel groupings and 12 and they've got the #1 rushing guy in the conference, and the guy they back him up with is pretty good too. They're really good.
To my point about depth.
Yeah, they're really good up front on the offensive line. You know, they've got a receiver that's pretty special. Number 86 is, you know, he was their you know, the conference media day. He was the guy that
he was the star of the show,
and he, you know, he's a good-looking dude that plays just as well as he looks. And
there's some good receivers.
There is, and the quarterback's a junior and does all the things they need him to do in that offense and makes really good decisions. And you know, they're not #1 in our conference for you know, they're #1 in our conference for a reason. They've played really good football, and the losses they had early in the season were to really good teams.
Well, they played one AA Northern Iowa, didn't they?
Western Illinois.
Western Illinois.
But it was 34-17, I think. So it was a 2-score game and or 3-score game, whatever.
That's tall cotton. That's big time football.
So they're you know, they'll be a tough challenge for us. But you know, again, we'll play. We'll prepare every day, and by the time we get there Saturday, we'll line up and we'll get everything we got and see what happens at the end.
Well, a little humor here. You know, remember at the beginning of the year, I said, you know, we're going to do all this travel, and I want to, you know, see how it works. Well, we're here now. We've done so much travel. I feel like a road show, a circus, you know, traveling from place to place. But, you know, again, it's a great experience for your young football team, and hopefully it'll be a benefit in years to come.
Absolutely, you know. And honestly, our players, I think, will tell you this. They've enjoyed seeing some of the different areas that we've been to. Some of them have never seen the mountains before. We were able to do that. Some of them have never seen Mount Rushmore in South Dakota, and so we were able to do that. And Indianapolis, you know, a lot of them haven't been to that area of the country, and so you know, that part of it, you know, there's some things, some life things beyond football that a lot of those guys will remember about some of this stuff. And you know, is it a long trip? Sure, but the way the buses are anymore and the charters. You know, they got Wi-Fi and flat screens, and shoot, it's better than my living room at home that I don't get to spend any time in. So.
I understand that. Well, hopefully everybody, and remember the starting time will be 5 o'clock here, 6 o'clock there. Going up to Indianapolis to play the conference leader right now, and it should be an interesting situation for the Cardinals. Again, I want to thank everybody for watching Inside the Cardinal Playbook, presented by UPS, 5510 Northeast Antioch Road in North Kansas City. And we'll see you again next week.